In the hinterlands of Jiangxi province, Jian, lies a 1,000-year-old village. In the late Tang Dynasty, the ancestors of the Ouyang family found this area to be a picturesque and fertile land. So they decided to name the area Diaoyuan, based on the fishing illusion of Jiangxiya. For over 1,100 years, the descendants of the Ouyang began work at daybreak and finished at sunset. They are presently in their 44th generation. 150 ancient dwellings from the Ming and Qing dynasties are interspersed on both sides of the 7 ponds located within the village. The descendants of the Ouyang family always abide by the teachings of their ancestors, and they protect their remaining properties and traditions. In Diaoyuan village, on the very first day of the school year, the children, led by their parents, will go to the Sir Loyalty Temple for the initiation rite. This is a rite meant to enlighten and educate descendants and to remember their ancestors. For the children who are about to enter school, this is the very first important lesson they will learn.
Children, you are all at school today. You must remember what your parents and teachers have taught you, to continue the glorious tradition of fidelity to everyone in your family. Repeat after me. We shall study hard and make progress. Practice what you preach. And behave yourselves.
Sir Loyalty is the posthumous name of the litterateur Ouyang Xiu. He was famous for his lifetime fidelity and brought honor to both his family and descendants. To hold the initiation rite in the ancestral hall is to pay respect and tell one's descendants the importance of learning from the wisest of men.
Mr. Ouyang Shu is still a leader in Chinese literary circles today, who developed the spirit of fidelity for one's family and descendants. I received the initiation rite when I was still a little boy. I'm in my 60s now, and I get to pass it down to other children every beginning of the school year.
As far as the villagers are concerned, fidelity is the moral sentiment that a man should abide by. It is also the guiding principle for his behavior. To the family, each initiation rite is a blessed and sacred event. On that day, the elderly will wake up early to prepare special gifts for the children.
Zijin, I want you to take these, okay? The garlic will help you count, and the scallions will make you smarter.
The garlic is said to help children count, and they hope that the scallions will make them smarter. Very simple items hold the elders' hope that the children will learn and grow into innocent and well-behaved individuals. In ancient times, Jian, where Diaoyuan village lies, was called Lulin. Many private schools thrived here. Since the Song dynasty, able men gathered here. It is said that 3,000 candidates have succeeded where great fidelity prospered. Ouyang Xiu, the progenitor of Diaoyuan village, is said to be a virtuous and brilliant role model. It is said that Ouyang Xiu's mother taught him to write in the sand with a reed when he was still little. This is the famous allusion known as educating the son with a reed, and is where the initiation rite comes from. Years later, Ouyang Xiu was promoted. Wang Anshe, Su She, Bao Zhang, as well as Sima Guang, were 4 of the talented men he recommended. Under his guidance, a new style of writing was created. The merit and conduct that Ouyang Xiu displayed enabled his future descendants to continue his pursuit towards fidelity in the present time. The ancestors' understanding of the spirit of fidelity has been recorded in detail in the Ouyang family's genealogy.
Be loyal to the emperor. Be obedient to the family. be incorruptible at work, be educated in conduct.
So these are the rules and standards for everything that we do.
Everything should be done based on these sentences.
Loyalty, filial piety, incorruptibility, and education. These four create a detailed code of conduct for morality and fidelity. As far as the clansmen are concerned, fidelity isn't by any means a spiritual goal. Instead, it is the down-to-earth truth and principle by which one behaves. In Diaoyuan village lies an ancestral hall called the Dunshu Hall that the Ouyang family value. Different from other ancestral halls, the Dunshu Hall contains one large courtyard and two smaller ones, forming the shape of the character pin. According to the hierarchy of feudal society, this kind of ancestral hall was only available to a family with a famous wise man. For over 500 years, the ancestors of Diaoyuan village regarded fidelity as their family's main motto. Thus, their descendants built the ancestral hall in the shape of the character pin in the most prominent place in the village. Henceforth, all important events were to be held here, including the worship of ancestors, marriages, and funerals. One can feel the wisdom of the ancestors just by standing in the hall.
The shape of the word pin is the embodiment of fidelity to honor our ancestors and serves as a guide for their descendants, whether they are officials or scholars, merchants or farmers. Everyone should care about others' feelings, value morality, and pursue ethics to pass the spirit of fidelity and morality to the next generation.
Ouyang Xiaobin, now a young man, was educated in the ancestral hall as a child. The truths taught by his elders have influenced him all his life.
My grandpa told me, a clean hand wants no washing, and there's always something above you. Never do anything wrong, and be an honest man. When you are dignified, you won't have to worry.
In recent years, Diaoyuan village has attracted many tourists. Villagers have opened farmstays in their own yards. Ouyang Xiaobin opened a restaurant 5 years ago. There was one time after the guests had left that he picked up a wallet left by one of them. He opened it and found over 30,000 yuan.
I rushed to the parking lot to find the owner of the wallet. He thanked me, but I said it was nothing. I'm not the only one. Other villagers have returned wallets to their owners too. Villagers here are honest, every one of them. That's how all the generations have been taught.
It is very important to have good traditions for the family. As they say, good traditions are inherited through good education. One should not do anything immoral, even if no one is watching. For Ouyang Xiaobin, his parents have played an important role in developing his behavior and moral character.
My son got into a fight once. The boy was bleeding and the teacher asked him to pay for the medicine. He went and stole half of the money I earned from kilning just so he could pay for it.
You must kneel down here for your mistake. Will you behave yourself? I kept asking. Will you behave? Yes. Will you do this again? No. Will you remember this? Yes. You may stand up. You'll kneel down again if you don't answer.
In Diaoyuan village, parents will ask their children to make an apology to their ancestors' tablets while they scold them. The instructions of their ancestors have thus become a moral restraint. It is said that ancestors will notice whether a man is virtuous or right-minded. And it is this strict traditional education that transforms the boy who often steals money from his parents into an honest man who is not swayed by vast sums of money. In Diaoyuan village, many ancestral halls and memorial archways have been well maintained. One that they are most proud of is the Loyalty Archway.
The theme of this one is loyalty. Look at the couplets on both sides. A little loyalty is everlasting. One word is worth 1,000 gold. It means that becoming an official is more than passing an imperial exam. Integrity is more important. The spirit of fidelity must be passed down.
Historically, Diaoyuan village had 9 successful candidates, over 30 certified students, and over 20 officials above the 5th rank. In the eyes of the Ouyang ancestors, one does not take the exams for fame and money, but in order to serve the nation and its people. Although the descendants seldom share the same high positions their ancestors occupied in the past, almost everyone values being upright in conducting themselves. When Ouyang Chong held the office of Yunnan governor during the reign of Emperor Wu in the Ming dynasty, he helped the people in disease-stricken areas and reduced taxes to create a more peaceful life. Later, he stepped down from his position to teach people that the fidelity of their ancestors should be passed down.
He held disdain mainly for the corrupt officials in office. Later, his biography was included in the history of Ming, which for the most part consisted mainly of biographies of emperors and generals. It's rare to collect biographies of loyal courtiers. It's clear that he inherited our ancestor spirit of fidelity. He was upright and outspoken.
In the middle and late Ming dynasty, the trend of doing business gradually flourished in the village. Generations of Diaoyuan villagers left their hometown to do business in Hubei, Guangdong, and Sichuan. They went through many hardships while becoming wealthy and brought great prosperity to the ancient village, earning them the name Little Nanjing. The wealthy villagers, however, never forgot their origins. They regard nurturing their children to be of utmost importance. Villagers have inscribed family mottos onto their walls, which they study religiously.
Simply behave yourselves. Teach your sons about fidelity. You should never be greedy with windfalls. Do not drink too much wine. Do you understand? If it's a windfall, that means you didn't work for it. It is a windfall if you take advantage of any crisis. You can't take anything that isn't yours. You earn what you're capable of earning. It's wonderful. We're grateful to our ancestors for their profound education.
Ouyang Zhonglin is 76 years old. He gets excited whenever he speaks of his family's history. He takes pride in being a free tour guide, telling the history of the village and his family to all the tourists who visit the village. For him, this is both an obligation and an honor. After his introduction, Ouyang Zhonglin refuses the invitation to have lunch with visitors and goes home to eat by himself. He has been doing this for the past 10 years. As far as he's concerned, the village culture belongs to everyone in the village, and he does not seek any form of benefit from it.
I've been engaged in tourism for 12 years. I'm doing all this for free. I receive many people a day. I often don't have time for lunch. When I start talking, I could go from 8 in the morning to 5 in the evening, non-stop. That's how busy I am.
Isn't it tiring?
No, maybe physically, but never spiritually. The visitors enjoy it. They love to listen, and I gain from what I've paid. With such a beautiful experience, not once do I ever feel lonely. I've always felt the tablets in the ancestral hall and the beautiful legends of our ancestors are our pride and joy. I'm of the 42nd generation of Ouyang. I am his posterity. It is wonderful to have his spirit. I must do what I can to embody it and pass it down.
This family tradition enables Ouyang Zhonglin to value morality and the pursuit of fidelity above all else. He declines everything offered to him, including gifts, rewards, and even an invitation to dinner. In his eyes, gains and losses don't matter because he values recognition and the trust he receives from visitors the most.
Look at this pair. Loving one's hometown strengthens the scenery. Pursuing wise men enhances morality. Pursuing wise men means learning from our ancestor, Ouyang Xiu. I must try harder. The wise men of the past greatly encouraged me.
Ouyang Zhonglin has made many friends through the years because they sense his sincerity. The many photos that visitors take with him are his most prized possessions. For him, spreading the village's history and culture to others is enough to bring significance and value to his life. Descendants take pride in the glories of their ancestors. It is because of this pride that they pay great attention to their words and deeds. They constantly monitor themselves in order to avoid bringing shame to their ancestors. In Diaoyuan village, old camphor trees are everywhere. In fact, there are over 20,000 of them. For many trees, it would take 2 or 3 men to wrap their arms around the trunk. The fragrance of the old camphor trees protects the village. It keeps crops from being attacked by insects. In the villagers' eyes, the trees they plant and protect, along with their vigorous growth, shows how prosperous the families are.
There is an old saying about these old trees. Luxuriant camphor trees make a family prosperous. Thick fallen leaves are always everlasting. It's passed down between generations. They must be protected, and never shall we cut one down. Even to this very day, the villagers value the trees. They cherish it as if they're a part of the family. We must protect them as they protect us.
Because of their good quality, camphor trees are used to make furniture. During the 1990s, Ouyang Zhonglin would often meet a merchant who wanted to purchase the camphor trees. However, the villagers here treat the camphor trees as though they are family members. They have never been tempted by money or any other kind of benefit.
He would always come back. We ignored him and didn't receive him. We would treat him badly, and I told him not to return. He didn't understand the first time. But if we see him again, we would be very rude to him. We would treat him very badly or even beat him up. We would tie him up so he couldn't shout. We were very serious about those trees. If he wanted to buy those camphor trees, he would never be welcome here again.
During the 1990s, a 30-year-old camphor tree could be sold for tens of thousands of yuan, which is a lot of money for villagers who often only earn 1,000 yuan per year. Neither the public nor private camphor trees were ever sold to these merchants.
Even if we suffered, we would never sell the camphor trees. It would be like selling our own sons. We will never sell the trees. All the small camphor saplings grow outside, like in the gardens, fields, and riverbanks. We build our houses around the trees. No camphor trees can be dug out. All of our relatives praise our village whenever they come to visit. We can even live without electric fans during the summertime. There are no mosquitoes here. Others may need mosquito repellent incense, but we don't need anything. It's comfortable.
Today, the camphor trees are lush, and the villagers receive rewards from nature itself. Many tourists like to come to the village to sightsee. The villagers' incomes have improved, and they now live comfortably.
In a civil society, the common people have some basic rules for behaving themselves. For example, they obey basic moral ethics. This is true in Diaoyuan village. An important point to remember is to always behave yourself whenever you are around your clan members. After such an atmosphere has been successfully achieved, the governance of the country should become a lot better, so that all of us can now prosper. This will be of utmost importance when it comes to national integrity.
A man will have great ambitions when he has a strong sense of fidelity. He should be ready to proceed without hesitation, even sacrifice his life in order to defend the nation's sovereignty especially during moments of national crisis. The spirit of fidelity is more important and precious than life itself. Ouyang Jiashang is a righteous man who hailed from Diaoyuan village. In the 1930s, he left his hometown and fought in countless battles to defend China when the country was in peril. In 1955, after the founding of New China, Ouyang Jiashang was honored with the title of Major General. In September of 2014, the villagers repaired the ancestral hall. In keeping with regular tradition, the villagers hold a grand ceremony for ancestor worship on every double ninth festival. Ancestor worship is not just for them to listen to the teachings of their ancestors and to inherit the spirit of fidelity, but also to recall the wise men of their family so their descendants will remember them as well. Ouyang Xinhua is the son of Ouyang Jiashang. After his father died, he returned to his hometown on his behalf for the grand ancestral ceremony.
My father loved his hometown. He would always think about it very fondly. After Diaoyuan village became rich, a lot changed here, and he couldn't go back.
Before going to the ceremony, he first visited the ancestral house where his father lived. Over the decades, the ancestral house has been well preserved by his fellow clansmen.
That is my grandfather, and that is my grandmother. She lived long and died in 1976. In the same year, my father got cancer. He died 4 years after that. It was a shame. So I like to bow to them. Thank you. Thank you.
Ouyang Xinhua's father was away from his hometown for many years, so on his behalf, he goes back to the ancestral house for ancestor worship, just as his father wanted. In the eyes of the villagers, Ouyang Jiashang cherishes the entire nation and its people. He is one of the descendants who has truly inherited the spirit of his ancestors and has made his family proud. The grand ceremony is held every 5 years and is an important date. 2014 marks the 105th anniversary of Ouyang Jiashang's birth. Before the worship began, the villagers erected a memorial tablet for him to display his valiant deeds.
General Ouyang Jiashang was a founding general, and Ouyang Jiashang devoted his whole life to the revolution and to the nation's people. His spirit is the family's glory and honor.
All of the villagers, men and women, young and old, look up in the ancestral hall. This ancestral ceremony has been the greatest honor to the entire village. Ouyang family members from far away have hurried home to attend this ceremony. To the villagers, no matter how long they have been away or how far they have been, in this moment, they are all one big family.
the family's descendants must learn the rules of their ancestors to maintain prosperity for future generations.
Be forever grateful and recall your ancestors' morality. It can be hard to leave your hometown when nostalgia strikes. The grand ceremony is the most precious moment for one to continue the legacy of his family and inherit the spirit of fidelity.
月光照在我家乡，心中依然那么渴望。多少次我梦回故乡，总是记忆中的模样。炊烟升起，仍带清香，熟悉的呼唤就在耳旁。乡愁。